Nigerian lawyer accuses Kenya of complicity in federal government's abduction of Nnamdi Kanu. Please, if you are just joining us, subscribe to our channel for more updates. An Abuja-based lawyer, Christopher Chidera, has accused the Kenyan government of complicity in the federal government of Nigeria's abduction and retention of Biafran agitation Nnamdi Kanu in 2021. The human rights activist alleged that the Kenyan government failed in its duty to protect Kanu in the unlawful abduction and torture of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. In a statement he made available to newsmen in Abuja on Monday, the lawyer alleged that Kenya acted in disregard for our constitution, the Extradition Act, and international treaty obligation under the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights (ICCPR), the Mutual Assistance within the Commonwealth Act, and the London Scheme on Extradition within the Commonwealth. The statement is entitled, "How the Government of Kenya Failed in Their Duty to Protect Nnamdi Kanu." According to the lawyer, the incident not only jeopardized Kanu's rights, but also damaged Kenya's reputation as a rule of law state within the Commonwealth and global community. Part of the statement read, "The case of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, highlights significant concerns regarding the Kenyan government's alleged involvement in his abduction, torture, and illegal retention to Nigeria in June 2021. An outline of the role played by the Kenyan government showed its apparent disregard for the Constitution of Kenya, the Kenyan Extradition Act, the international treaty obligation under the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights (ICCPR), the Mutual Assistance within the Commonwealth Act, and the London Scheme on Extradition within the Commonwealth." Nnamdi Kanu, a dual citizen of both United Kingdom and Nigeria, who entered Kenya on a UK passport, was abducted on June 19, 2021 at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi while picking up a friend. He was seized by armed individuals believed to be Kenyan and Nigerian security officials without an enforceable warrant or judicial order. The Constitution of Kenya, 2010, under Article 29, guarantees freedom and security of the person, prohibiting arbitrary detention, torture, or inhuman treatment. Kanu's abduction without legal justification or presentation before a court contravenes this protection. The Kenyan Extradition Act in 1968 mandates that extradition requests be formally processed within the individual, giving an opportunity to contest the transfer in court. No such process was followed, as Kenya has denied initiating extradition proceedings, suggesting an extrajudicial operation. Kanu was detained for 8 days in a secret location within the perimeter of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi because it could hear the takeoff and landing noise of aircraft. He was chained to the floor, beaten, and subjected to degrading treatment, including being denied access to sanitation facilities, denial of access to his medication, and torture to the point of unconsciousness. Article 25 of the Kenyan Constitution explicitly prohibits torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, rights, and are not deglorable. If Kenyan officials participated in or acquiesced to such acts, this constitutes a direct violation. Kenya, as a signatory to the ICCPR, is bound by Article 7, which prohibits torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. The actions also breach Article 9, which protects against arbitrary arrest and detention, as no legal basis for Kanu's detention was established. On June 27, 2021, Kanu was forcibly handed over to Nigerian officials at the airport and flown to Abuja on a private jet, bypassing Kenya's immigration protocols and legal extradition processes. This act on its own is illegal under Kenyan Municipal Laws, Section 6, Subsection 3 of the Kenyan Extradition Act requires that extradition comply with due process, including judicial oversight and adherence to the doctrine of specialty. No extradition request from Nigeria was processed, and Kanu's transfer lacked judicial sanctions, rendering it illegal. The London scheme for extradition within the Commonwealth, which governs extradition between Commonwealth states like the United Kingdom, Kenya, and Nigeria, mandates formal requests, judicial hearings, and respect for the political offense exception in Article 12. Kanu's advocacy for Biafran succession could qualify as a political offense, potentially bearing extradition. Kenya's failure to adhere to this framework suggests a deliberate circumvention. This act facilitates legal cooperation amongst Commonwealth countries such as UK, Kenya, and Nigeria, and does not authorize extrajudicial transfers. Kenya's action appears to contravene its obligation to ensure mutual assistance aligns with domestic and international law. The Kenyan government, through its High Commissioner to Nigeria and other officials, has denied any role in Kanu's arrest and detention, claiming no record exists of his detention or extradition. These contradict Kanu's detailed accounts and evidence of his presence in Kenya, such as passport stamps. Now, constitutional duty. Article 238, subsection 2 of the Kenyan Constitution subjects national security actions to the rule of law and human rights. The government's apparent acquiescence to or participation in an illegal detention undermines this principle. Beyond Article 7 and 9, Kenya's action may violate Article 13, which protects against arbitrary expulsion of aliens lawfully present in a state. Kanu entered Kenya legally on a British passport, yet was expelled without due process. Kenya is a party to the 1984 Convention Against Torture, which prohibits transferring individuals to states where they face a real risk of torture. Kanu's prior treatment in Nigeria detention, that is in 2015 to 2017, and subsequent reports of his mistreatment post-detention suggest Kenya ignored these obligations. The mutual assistance within the Commonwealth Act and London scheme emphasize cooperation within the bonds of legality and human rights. Kenya's apparent collaboration with Nigeria to bypass these frameworks undermines its Commonwealth commitments. The Kenyan government's role in Nnamdi Kanu's abduction, torture, and illegal detention to Nigeria reflects a troubling disregard for its own constitution, the Kenyan Extradition Act, and treaty obligations under the ICCPR, the mutual assistance within the Commonwealth Act, and the London scheme. Whether through direct involvement or acquiescence by rogue agents, Kenya's action or inaction enabled the breach of domestic and international law. The lack of formal extradition proceedings, coupled with official denials despite credible allegations, point to a deliberate effort to evade accountability, potentially for political or diplomatic gains. This incident not only jeopardized Kanu's rights, but also damaged Kenya's reputation as a rule of law state within the Commonwealth and global community. For more and timely updates on Biafra news, please subscribe to our channel.